unfortunately, I think a lot of the kind of establishment on that, kind of waffled on a bunch of facts and, asked for a bunch of things to be censored that in retrospect ended up being, more debatable.
You think, Mark? Welcome back to the JP Reacts channel, my beautiful freedom-loving friend, where we do like to call out the lies, hypocrisy, corruption of tyrants, shine the light of awareness on woke absurdities, and highlight the amazing work of other freedom fighters. Some of us would consider Mark Zuckerberg a tyrant, at the very least a tool of the tyrants. So we're going to take a look at about a minute-long interview clip of Mark Zuckerberg talking about during the COVID era, will it ever end, by the way, and how, wow, we were really asked to do a lot of censorship, and in hindsight, turns out everything was censoring wasn't based on truth. The narrative that was being promoted, and therefore the censorship stomping down competing thoughts, that narrative didn't turn out to always be true. So the question is old Zuckerberg pants, is he earnestly walking back, like realizing his mistakes, learning from mistakes? Is he honest and earnest with this? Or is he just doing a propaganda thing like, dude, okay, the lie is obvious, so now we have to acknowledge some of the lie under the cover of innocence? I don't know, but we'll take a look at the video clip together and you can be the judge for yourself. By the way, this video clip, it comes from Twitter. I saw it on Robert F. Kennedy Jr.'s Twitter page. The awakening continues. It's dawning on establishment figures like Mark Zuckerberg that they were complicit in a web of deception during COVID. Again, maybe that's true, or maybe they definitely knew they were complicit in a web of deception and they're trying to do the innocent thing, like we actually didn't know. Now they're kind of walking it back. So again, that's what you're going to be the judge on. And Robert F. Kennedy Jr. reposted this video from the Kaneakoa the Great on Twitter. Probably didn't pronounce that right. But let's take a look at the video.
So misinformation, I think, is...
You gotta stop it right here. I can barely stand his voice. Feels like there's broken glass crawling under my skin when I hear his voice. But I'm sure I'm just projecting onto him. Let's start over.
So misinformation, I think, is... has been a really tricky one because there are things that are kind of obviously false, right, that are maybe factual.
Things that were obviously false that were maybe factual. Yeah, you're describing everything you did with your censorship at Facebook and Instagram. Zuckerpants.
But may not be harmful. So it's like, all right, are you gonna censor someone for just being wrong? It's, if there's no kind of harm implication of what they're doing, I think that's...
Or are you just going to censor someone for being right? Which, by the way, that might be the most harmful thing you can do, censoring someone for being right. I mean, it's helpful for an agenda. It's helpful for pharmaceutical profits. But it's harmful on everybody else. But that's just collateral damage I think we're all willing to accept, aren't we?
There's a bunch of real kind of issues and challenges there. But then I think that there are other places where it is, just take some of the stuff around COVID earlier on in the pandemic where...
he is such a terrible speaker. I don't like him. But he is a terrible speaker. Just says every other word. You just see his eyes. They're looking away from whoever he's talking to. Man, he takes so long to say so little. We're 39 seconds into this 1 minute long video. It feels like it's already been 45 minutes to me.
There were, real health implications, but there hadn't been time to fully vet a bunch of the scientific assumptions. And
oh, really? There wasn't time to vet all the scientific assumptions? I actually didn't know that. Well, dummy me, because I was just going along with everything the censors on Facebook were telling me. But boy, am I surprised to hear that. All the science wasn't fully vetted. Interesting. Okay. Jeez, blowing my mind here, Mark.
Unfortunately, I think a lot of the kind of establishment on that kind of waffled on a bunch of facts and, asked for a bunch of things to be censored that in retrospect ended up being, more debatable or... And
he said yes to censoring those things that the establishment asked to have censored. So guilty.
True. And that stuff is really tough, right? It really undermines trust in that. And
okay, that's enough. So what I heard him conclude on is censorship undermines trust. Yeah, just not a little bit, but just completely. I'll share my opinion, but your opinion matters just as much. Let me know in the comments below what your opinion is. My opinion, watching Zuckerberg acknowledge what he acknowledged things that were painfully obvious to you and I during that era. Like things that were being censored weren't necessarily false. Scientific assumptions that were being pushed on us from Facebook, which not a medical organization, but being pushed on us, weren't necessarily valid. As I'm hearing him acknowledge these painfully obvious things as though he's just now discovering them, to me, this strikes me as very disingenuous. To me, it seems as though he's trying to play the role of an innocent person trying to, win public trust by acknowledging like we made mistakes and man, we didn't know we were making the mistakes when we made them, but like who would have thought? Well, everybody else thought, Mark, and everybody else could see they weren't mistakes. They were deliberate assaults on people's freedoms. They were deliberate assaults on election interference. They were deliberate assaults on people's medical freedom and their health sovereignty. Deliberate assaults. They weren't mistakes, Mark, and they were very obvious. So this being someone who is way smarter than me, I think I'm way more heart-centered than him, but he's way smarter than me. So for him not to see what was so obvious to you and I don't even work at Facebook. He does. I just don't buy it. So for me, this is very disingenuous. It's an attempt to win the favor of the public, pretending as though he's trustworthy. I didn't know, guys, when in fact, I believe he knew the whole damn time. The censorship was not around truth. It was not about truth. It was not about protecting people. It was about promoting a false narrative that actually harms people. That's what I think about this latest video of Mark Zuckerberg. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and I'll be looking forward to seeing you on our next video. But before we go, I want to tell you about something I use to build my health so I can feel and function my best. Organifi. What's up, friend? I want to tell you about a product I absolutely love, and it's something I use every day. It's how I start my mornings, and that is Organifi. Organifi is a line of organic superfoods that offer plant-based nutrition and high-quality ingredients with less than 3 grams of sugar per serving for less than $3 per day. If good energy, weight management, reducing stress, or fueling your fitness is important to you, Organifi has your back. Organifi is absolutely loaded with organic nutrients, vitamins, minerals, micronutrients, and antioxidants. If you want to feel your best and perform at your best, you absolutely need these things, but they're hard to come by. I don't know about you, but I'm not the type of person who's going to take a lot of time out of my busy schedule to juice 35 pounds of vegetables and fruits every day. I'm just not going to do it. But Organifi helps me quickly and easily get the same benefit with none of the trouble. If you want to bring Organifi and all of its benefits into being a potent part of your morning routine, then just go to Organifi.com/JP. And while you're there, be sure to use the discount code JP for 20% off. Enjoy.